Hey there guys, welcome to Dinos Vault, and boy am I excited to bring you guys my first ride video of the sensational all new 2017 KTM Duke 390. There's been a lot of hype surrounding this bike's launch. The bike carries loads of expectations from the Orange Brigade and also other bike enthusiasts. So does it live up to all the hype and expectation is the big question here, and the answer to that is an emphatic yes. The Duke 390 also shares the majority of the design cues with the 250, or rather we can say it's the other way around. The bike is sharp and sleek with cuts and creases defining the cutting edge bodywork. The added bits that distinguish this bike from the 250 include the orange treatment to the wheels, the orange handguards, orange and white color scheme to the frame, and most importantly the all-new menacing LED headlight that reminds us of the Ultron's face from the Avengers Age of Ultron movie. Well, does it look good? Hell yes, it does. It looks sharper and sleeker than ever before with the new Super Duke inspired styling, and there is a truckload of equipment that comes as standard along with this bike, which is what makes it one of the most eagerly awaited bikes of this year. So let me quickly run you guys through the suffocating and impressive feature list. Now first, design wise, as I already told you, it resembles the iconic new Super Duke R to a great extent, with the split headlamp unit up front looking absolutely awe-inspiring. Also, I believe the sharper and sleeker design philosophy with a slightly leaned forward seating posture now aids in enhancing the overall aerodynamics of the bike. The full LED headlamp that differentiates it from the 250 looks absolutely stunning and haunting with its mean and sinister look. Also, I love the way the LED tail lamp has come out with an all-new layout that looks super sexy. We then have the split trellis frame with a bolt-on subframe which promises razor-sharp handling and superb maneuverability. Then we have the side mount exhaust which has been added to make the bike Euro 4 compliant. The exhaust gets a combination of stainless steel underbelly pre-muffler and aluminium absorption type final exhaust, which is similar to the one found on the mighty 1290 Super Duke R. Now the benefits it offers are contributing to mass centralization, smoother power delivery, and excellent emission values. Also, this helps the bike get an exhaust note that sounds more racy and bass heavy. So let's go ahead and hear it out now. Now coming to the most important feature added on to this new Duke 390 is the inclusion of ride-by-wire throttle. Now for the first time viewers, let me quickly tell you how ride-by-wire works. With the ride-by-wire system, there is no cable connection between the accelerator and the throttle as is usually the case. Instead, in this system, when the rider twists the accelerator, the actuators in the electronic throttle body sense this movement and change the throttle opening accordingly. The movement of throttle alters air supply to the engine. Now then the throttle position sensor recognizes this change and sends a signal to the ECU. Now based on this signal, the ECU calculates the exact amount of fuel required and orders the fuel injection system to supply it. Hence the engine receives the correct amount of air-fuel mixture each time, thereby resulting in a more instant and crispier throttle response. Now the advantages of having ride-by-wire on board is that it ensures a precise control of air-fuel mixture going into the engine, thereby enhancing engine efficiency and ultimately reducing emission values. Next, we have the much talked about and desired upon full color TFT display. Now I'll be doing a separate video detailing all the functions it has on offer. I'll be adding that link in this video soon, and it will appear on the screen now once it is updated. So please feel free to check that video by following the link. Next, we have the adjustable clutch and brake levers that help you set the levers conveniently as per your fingers' reach. The seats are now of better quality and are much more comfortable than that of the preceding model, and that's immediately apparent the moment you hop onto the bike. Then we have the larger and wider rear view mirrors that offer a wider field of view of the following traffic behind you. Also, the bike now gets a larger 320mm disc up front with sintered brake pads which offer better bite and a more reassuring feel. We also get a larger 13.5 litre steel tank which would yield a better tank range for those who would like to tour on this bike. Next, we get the 43mm open cartridge separate function USD forks for compression and rebound, and they come with height adjustment. Next, the bike also gets the one-touch contactless cranking, which means the bike cranks up with a feather touch of the starter button. Also, the bike gets UV resistant paint that ensures that the paint doesn't fade away over a period of time. We then have the EVAP or evaporative emission control system, which prevents vaporized fuel loss, thereby lowering the emissions and improving fuel efficiency. And finally, we have the CAN bus system on board. Now CAN, or Controller Area Network, comes as a part of the ride-by-wire system. What it basically does is allow a wide range of features to be implemented using software alone, making things less complex and more cost efficient while also reducing wiring. Now what's carried forward thankfully from the older model are the super sticky Metzellers. Also carried forward from the previous model is the slipper clutch, which aids in faster downshifts without the rear wheel locking or hopping. And of course we have the dual channel ABS as standard on this bike, which pretty much seals the deal as far as safety is concerned. The seat height now is 830 mm. I'm 5 feet 6 inches tall and I cannot put my feet flat on the ground, but that is not much of an issue if you are an experienced rider because the bike is very well balanced and handles like a dream. The ground clearance is 185 mm, which I guess is more than sufficient for our Indian road conditions. Also, the wheelbase of this bike is shorter by around 10 mm compared to the previous model, which means the bike is easily flickable on city streets. Now coming to the most important aspect of the video as to how the bike rides. First, looking at the engine specs, we get the same 373.2cc engine that puts out a max power of 43.5 PS at 9000 RPM and a max torque of 37 Newton meters at 7000 RPM. Now this comes mated to the 6-speed transmission. So I guess the torque has gone up by 2 Newton meters when compared to the previous model. I did ride the bike through city streets and empty stretches. I did a couple of laps on the track as well during the Hyderabad launch event, and what an exhilarating experience, guys. I was a bit skeptical to begin with because of this new bike complying with Euro 4 norms. I thought maybe the brutal and unforgiving nature of the bike might have been altered or toned down a bit. Thankfully, I am wrong because the bike is absolutely ballistic with the same old relentless force that shoots you through the streets like a rocket. And the best part about this new model is that it is a lot more refined than its predecessor. It's almost like the Flash getting a special suit made by Tony Stark to control the lunacy and insanity of his super speedy nature. The clutch is light and easy to operate. The gearbox works like a charm by offering smooth gear shifts. The throttle response is more instant, a light ring of the throttle and the bike just leaps forward. Now that's the feeling I loved about the first gen 390, the tendency to lift the front wheel right off the ground at the very light ring of the throttle. Thankfully, all the fun, all the adrenaline rush, all the excitement remains unchanged, and it's even better now with the added refinement. The seat cushioning is more comfortable, there is more room for the rider to move around. The seating posture though is slightly forward biased, with the handlebar being slightly shorter and moved towards the rider. Now this combined with the shorter wheelbase of the bike results in much better flickability in city conditions. Also, the added weight of nearly 10 kgs on this bike is not all that apparent because it has been cleverly managed by KTM. Now looking at the brakes, we get the large 320 mm disc up front and a 230 mm disc at the back. The stopping power is quite reassuring and confidence inspiring. Also, I felt the intervention of ABS to be a lot smoother now rather than being a little abrupt or sudden as was the case for the previous model. Now talking about the suspension, KTM have done a fabulous job by tuning the suspension precisely to offer better comfort at lower speeds and great stability at higher speeds. This is another area where this bike scores comprehensively over the preceding model, which came with a rather rigid setup. Now looking at the wheels and tires, the super sticky Metzeler tires do their bit by offering supreme road grip, and thankfully they have been retained. We get 17-inch wheels and tubeless tires, and we get a 110 section tire up front and a 150 section tire at the back. Mileage wise, I think we can expect around 25 kmpl from this bike, and this figure may vary based on riding style and riding conditions. Now looking at the price, the bike surprisingly costs 1000 rupees more than the RC at around 2.58 lakhs on road here in Hyderabad, which means this new model is dearer by nearly 25 to 30k compared to its predecessor. But considering the kind of kit it brings along with it, like separate function forks, the stunning LED headlamp unit, the gorgeous TFT color speedo console, ride-by-wire throttle, slipper clutch, dual channel ABS, and a hotter than ever design theme, I think it's well worth the money. And yes guys, I stand convinced that it is indeed one of the best deals you can currently get in our market, which is why I was the first to book it and will soon be taking its delivery, and I'd like all of you to be present for that event. I'll be announcing the date and time of delivery right here on our channel, so please stay tuned for that. I want to celebrate this special occasion with all you guys whom I choose to call my best friends. Well, that's about it for now. I just hope you found this video useful. Until next time, this is Dino saying ciao. Take care, God bless, and ride safe.